Okay, so a common question I get asked is how can I come up with content topics for a GEO strategy? And one technique I want to show you here is using query fanout data to come up with those content topics. So if you're not familiar with what fanout queries are, is if you enter a prompt into an AI assistant like ChatGPT or Gemini, it's not necessarily going to search your prompt verbatim. It's going to break it down into subqueries, which are called fanout queries. Now, these cover different topical realms or different lines of intent, but it's basically what allows the AI assistant to generate like a holistic answer. So if your goal in GEO is to be used as a source, assuming the AI assistant does a web search, then to be a source, you want to be relevant for the fan out queries that the AI assistant is searching to ground its answer. And so basically what I'm going to show you here is how to extract those fan out queries, get themes from them, and then come up with topic ideas based on that. So the first question is, where do you get the fan out queries? So there's a couple of, as far as I know, they're available to view from ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Copilot if you're using like a Chrome extension or another tool. If you want to get them from like a Google platform like AI Mode or Gemini, you're gonna have to use a third-party tool that uses like synthetic data to simulate that. I'll show you first off how to do it in ChatGPT using a Chrome extension. So you can see my prompt was tell me about the latest SEO news from the last week. That's what I actually typed in. But if we go and click on this one, oops, which is ChatGPT path from IEMA, it shows me the actual fanout queries that ChatGPT performed to do this search. So you can see these are not really close to what I searched. There's some site searches in here where it's looking at particular domains. It has some dates in here. Basically, this is what it's using to ground its answer to get the sources to give me my answer. So you could, in theory, run this across like a bunch of different prompts for a topic that you're interested in, extract all the fan out queries, and then use that data. It's a little time consuming to do it that way. So I'm going to show you another way, which is using a prompt tracking tool like PKI. So here they have a fanouts tab. And so I track ChatGPT as one of my, so it's going to give me fan out queries for all of the prompts that I track. And you can see SEO news is one of the prompts I track. So I see fan out queries related to that here. So the next step is to export these fan out queries from your prompt tracking tool, and then we'll import them into an AI assistant. In my case, I'm going to use ChatGPT. So your prompt tracking tool will have an export button. You just export the query fanouts, and then we'll go to ChatGPT, and I already have a conversation. So let's just jump over there. So you can see I uploaded the document, and then my prompt was, I'm uploading an exported list of fanout queries for prompts I track. Please evaluate the fanout queries for common themes, and then give me content suggestions based on those themes. My goal is to create content that's relevant for the fanout queries and that my target audience would find helpful. So at first step, what it does is it shows me the general themes from the fanout queries. So we can see like organic content strategy and research, technical SEO for AI search, people first and holistic SEO. So just based on these themes, I could, brainstorm and come up with content topics on my own, and they would be relevant to the prompts that I'm interested in, or at least the prompts I'm tracking. But it also gives me below like actual content ideas that I could go ahead and either write about or create a video for, or basically whatever format I think makes the most sense for that topic to be retrieved as a source is what I could go ahead and do. So you see there's some pretty good topics here. Some of these initial ones are kind of generic, like what is a holistic SEO GEO strategy, GEO versus traditional SEO. It does get into some interesting ones, like how AI systems select sources, reg for SEO and GEO professionals. So again, these topics are relevant to the fan out queries for the prompts that I'm tracking. And so ideally in your prompt tracking setup, you'll be tracking prompts that are along the buyer's journey for your target personas for your main lines of business. So by creating content that's relevant to those fan out queries, you'll be creating content that's not only relevant to your audience and their buyer's journey, but could potentially be used as sources to aid in your AI visibility. So again, there's different ways to extract fanout queries. You can use a Chrome extension. Again, the one I used was called ChatGPT Path. There's also Fanout Fox is a fairly new one. So you have options on where to go for that. Prompt tracking. But yeah, that's sort of the takeaway is that you identify the fanout queries relevant to your prompts, of interest, extract those Fanout queries, import them into an AI assistant like ChatGPT, and ask it for the main themes and for content suggestions based on that. And again, these are going to be relevant both to your target audience as well as potential sources that could be used in AI chats to aid in your AI visibility. So thanks for your time. I appreciate it.